You've probably felt it before: the exhaustion, the constant pressure, the sense that no matter how fiercely you fought, how boldly you led, the world never stopped demanding more from you. That's what it felt like to be a Viking in the end. Glory may have surrounded you once, the long ships, the victories, the thrill of the raid, but all of it came with a price. If you care too much, you know this sensation intimately. You charge into conflicts, defend people, carry burdens that aren't yours, and yet, when the battle ends, you're left exposed, unrecognized, and worn thin. Vikings were celebrated for their ferocity, their courage, their unstoppable drive. But their victories were temporary, and their lives were fragile. Every raid, every conquest, demanded sacrifice. And like those warriors, people who care too much live in a state of constant output, giving without pause, protecting without acknowledgement, and hoping that their effort will be enough. You shoulder responsibility, absorb tension, and maintain connections. Yet the world rarely returns the care you provide. Psychologically, this pattern isn't random. The brain learns to reward giving, anticipating, and fixing. Every time you step in to resolve a conflict or soothe someone's distress, dopamine and oxytocin reinforce your behavior. The relief you provide becomes its own reward, creating a cycle where overcaring feels necessary for safety, connection, and approval. Your nervous system stays alert, scanning for problems, threats, or needs even when none are urgent. Caring becomes survival. Like Vikings at the edge of the known world, you operate in dangerous territory emotionally, socially, and mentally. You face pressures others ignore. You navigate conflicts others avoid. You act as the bridge, the protector, the anchor. But no one always sees the strain behind your courage. They admire results, not the process. They celebrate the outcomes, not the cost. And when the long ships return to shore, when the raids are over, the isolation remains. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes with overcaring. You are always attuned to the emotions, needs, and struggles of others. Yet your own are minimized or dismissed entirely. You give, and people depend on it, but rarely reciprocate. You feel indispensable and invisible at the same time. Your role is revered in theory, but rarely nurtured in reality. This is the emotional equivalent of the Viking who survives battle only to return to a home. Unprepared to meet him, where he is. Society often rewards this type of care superficially. You are called loyal, dependable, strong. You are praised for patience, empathy, and attentiveness. But these compliments often mask expectation. Keep giving, keep protecting, keep sacrificing. Over time, this erodes your sense of self-worth. You begin to measure your value by how much you endure, how much you provide, how much you shield others. And when the weight becomes unbearable, guilt surfaces, not for failing, but for even thinking about stopping. The Vikings' greatest risk wasn't always the enemy, it was running out of strength, returning to a home that could not sustain him, and realizing that survival did not equal recognition or peace. Similarly, if you care too much, your greatest danger is burnout and emotional depletion. You fear that stepping back will hurt others or leave a void. But continuing to give without replenishment slowly erodes the part of you that feels joy, safety, and belonging. Healing begins when you recognize the difference between responsibility and overextension. Boundaries are not betrayal, they are shields that protect your energy, your well-being, your nervous system. Saying no does not make you selfish. Rest does not make you weak. Allowing yourself to be seen, to be held, and to receive care is not indulgence, it's survival. You do not have to burn endlessly to be valuable. When you start directing the same intensity, courage, and loyalty inward that you give outward, a shift occurs. You remain capable, attuned, and empathetic, but your care is sustainable, intentional, and reciprocal. You are no longer defined by exhaustion or overextension. Your presence becomes a choice rather than a compulsion. You reclaim your power, not as a function of sacrifice, but as a measure of your wholeness. There is grief in this realization. You may mourn the years spent overextending, the moments of invisibility, the sacrifices unrecognized. Let it exist. It is not a sign of failure, it is truth emerging. And truth, though heavy, is freeing. You were never meant to exist only as a shield for others. to fight every battle, to absorb every storm. Your courage, your empathy, your devotion, they are gifts to be honored and reciprocated. You deserve rest, recognition, and care. Your strength is not defined solely by what you can endure. It is defined by your ability to honor yourself amidst the chaos. So here's the question to sit with tonight. Where in your life have you been the Viking, fighting battles that were never yours alone to win? And what might change if, for once, you directed your ferocity, your loyalty, and your care toward protecting yourself as fiercely as you protect the world? Awareness is the first longship to shore. Sometimes, the most radical act of courage is turning from the battle to finally stand for yourself.